How worried are you about?
Deeply worried.
Drama refuses to leave the royal family in Buckingham Palace alone. According to the BBC, King Charles III has cancer. This news comes shortly after another royal stint in the hospital, Princess Kate. She was in the hospital for abdominal surgery, and rumors have been running wild that there were some complications that prolonged her stay in the hospital. Now the attention goes to Charles, who shared with the public what led to his cancer diagnosis. He apparently suffers from a benign, enlarged prostate and was at the hospital for a regular checkup. The doctors discovered something odd while performing their examination and concluded that he had a tumor. Now, according to the hospital, it isn't prostate cancer. They just happened to find the tumor while performing the examination. That's good news for Charles, since prostate cancer can be pretty extreme and deadly. According to the American Cancer Society, there's a 99% chance that people with prostate cancer will survive for at least 5 years after diagnosis if the tumor remains in the prostate or just outside the prostate. However, that number drops to a mere 34% if the cancer has spread to other distant organs. But the thing is, we don't know what type of cancer Charles has, how long he's had it, and whether the cancer has spread or not. And it's unlikely we will know anytime soon either. The royals love to keep quiet about their suffering. That said, the palace did release some information about how the family would take care of certain events moving forward. Charles is expected to scale back his public events. He intends to continue performing in his constitutional role, however, which basically means looking at and signing paperwork. All public appearances will likely be taken over by another member of the royal family. And that most likely means Prince William will be stepping up to the plate. Now, William took a step away from his public duties, too, to support his wife. Kate was in hospital for surgery on her abdomen, and she needed to stay in the hospital longer than expected to recover. William has been spending time with her and only officially stated that he'd be returning to his normal duties later this week. With his father taking some time to recover, William will likely step up and perform the various public duties that his father can no longer host. For those who might be hopeful that this will encourage Prince Harry to enter back into the fold, we'll have to wait and see. Currently, Harry is a non-working royal, which means he can't step in to help his father. Those who could theoretically perform Charles's duties while he's resting are Queen Camilla, Prince William, Princess Anne, and Prince Edward. The public doesn't have a lot of love or respect for Queen Camilla, and Princess Anne and Prince Edward tend to shy away from the spotlight. That leaves William to pick up the slack, and since he's next in line for the throne anyway, it makes sense that he take the opportunity to be the face of the family for a time. Now, while Harry won't be taking on any formal duties, he is expected to visit his father soon. Apparently, before Charles's cancer diagnosis became public news, he shared it with his family first. In particular, he spoke with his sons about it. He told William in person while he spoke to Harry on the phone. Now, Charles has known he's had cancer for at least a week now. He went to the hospital for his checkup the previous week at the end of January. It's clear that the royal family likely wanted to handle this internally first before bringing the news to the public. Treatments for his cancer began on February 5th, and those closest to him say that he's feeling positive about the treatments. Considering that he's the King of England, he's probably receiving the best care there is for it. Now, a lot of rumors have been swirling about what type of cancer Charles has and what stage it's at. It's difficult to tell how panicked the royals are, since they're very good at keeping a brave, stoic face. Since doctors found the tumor during a prostate exam, it's likely that the tumor exists somewhere in that area, and there are quite a few important organs in that area. Since the royals receive top-notch health care, it's unlikely that the cancer has spread far, if at all. Their doctors would have spotted it immediately, so it's highly likely that the cancer is still in its first stage. But considering that Charles has an enlarged prostate, it could complicate detection tools or even exacerbate his condition. Another interesting thing to remember is that Charles mentioned he's considering abdicating to allow Prince William to take the throne. According to the Royal Observer, there's been a lot of talk about Charles being one of the few royals to abdicate the throne to someone else. Normally, they hold on to the throne until they die. But Charles and Camilla have apparently been in talks about ruling for 10 years before making way for William and Kate. One of the reasons they're considering such a short term, at least compared to Charles's mother's reign, is because of what Queen Margaret II of Denmark did. Now, when it comes to traditionalists, Queen Margaret is the queen. She swore that she'd remain queen until she died. But then, shocking people everywhere, she chose to abdicate her throne to her son. Her reasons may stem from an ongoing push from the youth to remove old and outdated people from positions of power. Abdicating in favor of her son may have been an attempt to assuage the people of Denmark that the royal family is still hip and relevant. Charles may be feeling the pressure to do the same thing, and if he does end up abdicating the throne to William, he'd technically be breaking his vow. The oath that all monarchs of Great Britain take states that they will reign until their death. If Charles abdicates, then he's breaking his oath. It's why his mother, Queen Elizabeth II, remained queen for as long as she did. But she also came from a generation where being a monarch and the monarchy was still a powerful force in the world. These days, it's more of a tradition rather than because the royals are making decisions for their people. If Charles does plan on abdicating to his son and he wants to keep to a 10-year reign, then he has about 8 more years to go. But will he make it that long? Whether the cancer he has is deadly or not, cancer treatments are rough, and he is in his 70s already, so those treatments may be especially tough on his body. Will he survive the treatments, or will he become so weak that he ends up abdicating the throne earlier than expected? For some people in England, the abdication couldn't come soon enough. Back when Charles was being crowned, there was a lot of support for the crown to just pass him by and go to William instead. With news of his cancer diagnosis now made public, people might be pushing for his abdication once more. I'm actually surprised Charles revealed he had cancer at all. The royal family has slowly been opening up more about their scandals and problems over time, but this is still big news. Back in the day, Charles would have just died of cancer, and that'd be the first time the public ever heard of it. So why did the royal family choose to have this private information made public? Part of it is because Charles wants to normalize prostate exams. There's still some stigma about prostate health with men, so Charles saw this as an opportunity to push men into undergoing prostate exams and normalize it. The exam clearly worked in his favor. He also wants to advocate for cancer treatment, especially in older people. The odds of cancer increase as you age, but few people want to undergo examinations for cancer, especially as they get older. So Charles sees this as an opportunity to show others around his age that it's possible to treat cancer even later in life. The royal family also released a statement that formally announced Charles' cancer diagnosis, and there's a part in it that suggests another reason why Charles chose to go public. The letter states, His Majesty chose to share his diagnosis to prevent speculation, because if you can count on one thing, it's that the British tabloids are going to be all over any kind of rumor that the king is unwell. So Charles decided to just nip it in the bud and reveal what was going on with him before the news outlets could twist the story, which, to be fair, they love to do when it comes to the royal family. But what do you think about Charles's cancer diagnosis? Is this karma or just bad luck? Do you think it will push Charles to abdicate the throne sooner, if at all? Let me know in the comments below.